Very good morning. In today's video, I am explaining the different sources I have used in my projects. I have used various data sources in my project. The data sources are used to connect to the Power BI to get the data into Power BI. So I have used different data sources. They are SQL Server, Excel files, CSV files, Power BI service datasets, web data, APIs, SharePoint, Azure SQL database, flat files, text or JSON files comes under flat files. Other data sources are Oracle database, Google Sheets, SAP systems. Along with the database, I also used Redshift, Snowflake data sources in my projects. Now I am explaining one by one in detail. SQL Server. SQL Server is a primary database for storing and retrieving sales and transactional data. So in my project, SQL Server database is the primary database. I use it for storing and retrieving the sales and transactional data. Connected Power BI to SQL Server to fetch data using SQL Server, SQL queries. The main purpose of this SQL Server is using the SQL queries to fetch the data into Power BI. So I used SQL Server as a primary database in my project. Excel files used for importing additional data like budgets, targets, or reference tables. So for importing additional data like budget, targets, or reference tables, I used Excel files for importing this data. Excel files were uploaded to Power BI for quick integration. If we want quick integration, we use Excel files. So by connecting the Excel files to Power BI, the data integration was very fast. CSV files. CSV files means comma separated files. Imported flat file containing historical sales data or customer sales lists. Flat files are imported for historical sales data and customer lists. Power BI service datasets. Reused existing Power BI datasets are shared data models. So I used Power BI service datasets for retrieving the already existed Power BI datasets or shared data models. I used these Power BI datasets and shared data models for my project. Web data. Web means web sources. I imported the data from web sources by using this web data option. So I integrated data from public web sources using Power BI's web connector. Power BI as a web connector tool. By using this tool, I integrated public web sources. I integrated data from public web sources like currency rates and market trends. For these, I used web data. APIs, application program interface. I used these APIs to pull real-time data from APIs such as regional sales or customer feedback. For regional sales and customer feedback, I used APIs. SharePoint. I used SharePoints to connect SharePoint online for accessing shared documents or Excel files. For accessing the shared documents or Excel files, I used SharePoint online. Azure SQL database. The main purpose of Azure SQL database is to import the data presented in cloud. So I used this Azure SQL database for cloud-hosted databases for scalability and real-time updates. So, for scalability and real-time updates, I used this Azure SQL database. Flat files, text or JSON. Text and JSON files comes under flat files. These are called as flat files. Processed structure or semi-structured data from text files or JSON files. So, By using these text files and JSON files, I processed the structured and semi-structured data into Power BI. Other data sources, along with these data sources, I also use some other data sources. They are Oracle database. I use Oracle database mainly for legacy system data. Google Sheets. I used this Google Sheets for collaborative data sources. SAP systems. I SAP system. By using this SAP system, I integrated uh, Power BI with SAP BW or SAP HANA for advanced reporting. So mainly for advanced filtering, I used SAP systems. Along with these data sources, I also use Redshift and Snowflake data sources in my project. So these all data sources, some based upon our mode of import mode or direct to remote or live connection. We use these data sources to get data into Power BI. This is about the data sources in Power BI. I also want to see another picture uploaded from ChatGPT. We learn many things from this picture. Here, Power BI is located in center. So SQL Server, SQO Server, MySQL, My Azure, Oracle, AWS, AI, Excel, Google File, Excel, AWS, CLA, Azure. So these are all located around the Power BI. So there is a connection from these SQL Server, SQO Server, MySQL, Oracle, Excel, Google File, CSV, AWS. So that means these connections tells us the data is there is a link between these SQL Server to Power BI. So by using this link, the data from SQL Server and other data sources comes into Power BI. Uh, picture shows picture shows lot of information to us. Picture is a one of the important thing. So we say lot of things by showing pictures. Pictures gives a lot of messages if we understand it properly. So this picture also gives a lot of information to us about data sources connected to Power BI. By seeing picture, we remember all the things in our mind. By seeing this picture, we can describe lot of things about Power BI and SQL Server. I think some data sources are missed in this picture. They are CSV files and Redshift, Snowflake, SharePoint, online Power BI service data sets, flat files. So this, I think by including these data sources also, it has a complete meaning. Anyway, this picture gives a lot of information about us to us about the data sources connected to Power BI. Data sources is main for getting the data. Without data, we can't go. So data is important for Power BI. So by using these data sources, we get the data into Power BI, and by using the data source, we perform data transformations and data models. We created DAX functions and measures. After that, we develop the report. So for developing report, data is main task. So we got the real-time data and updated data based on the requirement. Thank you.